ago, now contains only sand, occasional rainwater, dried seaweed, discarded egg cases from marine creatures. The Elmo house sags nearer to the earth. Every year, people wonder if it will survive another hurricane season. The Womanless Wedding. In August 1952, the St. Elmo Men's Lodge put on a womanless wedding. The lodge members had talked about other ways of raising money, a talent show, a fish fry, but these were rejected. Donald LaGrange, whose tap dancing was always the hit of any St. Elmo talent show, especially the finale to Swanee, was laid up after twisting an ankle chasing his bird dog through the woods. As for a fish fry, the men thought soon everybody would be fish fried out, it being an election year. There hadn't been a womanless wedding in St. Elmo since '48, when Eldred Segrist ruined everything by setting his wig on fire with one of the candles. It was time for another. Ticket sales were brisk at 50 cents apiece. The St. Elmo Elementary School auditorium would be full. Although he had vowed never to do it again after what had happened the last time, Luke Draper agreed to sing his falsetto, "Oh, Promise Me." And despite his re-election campaign against a strong challenge by Leroy, Gospel Roy, McGinnis, the First Baptist choir director, Congressman Robert Snapper Landis agreed to be the preacher. The preacher was a good role for Snapper. It was fairly dignified, since he wouldn't have to mess around with wigs and falsies, but he'd also get to use his politician's voice and might even get to work some words about the communist threat into the invocation. On the evening of the performance, people gathered in the sandy schoolyard, avoiding the heat of indoors. Teenage girls in freshly ironed sundresses giggled and eyed the teenage boys draped over parked cars. Children, oblivious to the heat, screamed and chased each other while their mothers watched languidly. Men greeted each other with uneasy camaraderie and talked about the frogs they'd gigged the last time they'd gone frogging, or how many squirrels they'd shot recently. Male laughter drifted from the lighted classroom where the weddings cast was getting into costume. With the onset of deep dusk, the mosquitoes got bad and drove everyone indoors. Lily and Aubrey Trulock arrived while the crowd was trooping into the auditorium. The room was filled with the slapping sound of hard wooden seats being folded down. At either end of the stage, in front of the threadbare red curtain, were white florist's baskets filled with balloons. Lily hadn't much wanted to come, she told herself. It was, after all, 7 miles in and 7 miles back to the landing. But Aubrey was a lodge member, even though he hadn't been to the meetings, or much of anywhere else except his apiary, since his heart attack. He hadn't said anything, but Lily believed he wanted to come, and since he'd been willing to walk out and get in the car, she supposed she was right. Now that they were here, though, she felt irritated. Instead of going down to the first 2 rows of seats, where his lodge buddies were waiting to cheer on their fellows, Aubrey hung back and sat meekly by her in the middle of the auditorium. "There's Jack. Don't you want to see Jack?" asked Lily, fanning herself with her church fan, a cardboard picture of Jesus risen from the tomb stapled to a wooden stick. She glared at his perspiring pink forehead as, eyes downcast, he shrugged. "I expect Jack would like to see you," she said. When she got no response, she craned her head around to survey the crowd. Lily liked to keep up with what was happening. She was a wiry woman in her mid-50s. Her skin was dark brown and roughened by years of exposure to the coastal sun, her light green eyes surrounded by wrinkles from squinting in the glare. She could run a boat, pump gas, open oysters. She had more energy than it took to keep a store, and she used it to stay abreast of events. Wesley Stafford was across the way, she saw, standing slightly apart from a crowd of Methodist youth. Wesley, a ministerial student from Montgomery who had worked with the young people for the summer, looked ill at ease.